This is my Grimwalker OC, Sullivan. In his storyline, he is the golden guard that comes before the one who was Darius' mentor, so he is from the same generation as Principal Bump. Sullivan was Emperor Bellows's most dangerous Grimwalker, and one of the few who had gotten away with multiple assassination attempts on Bellows' life. Sullivan was not a nice guy, he was just as bad if not worse than Bellows. He regularly abused his authority as the Golden Guard and often used it to get away with cold-blooded murder. At first, Bellows didn't really mind it as long as he did his job, but then Sullivan started to cause a lot of other problems, and then when he found out he was a Grimwalker instead of abandoned like Bellows told him he was, that was when Sullivan decided to try and kill Bellows himself. Bellows was unaware of these assassination attempts, since at first, Sullivan was attempting to poison him and he just thought his food had gone bad. Then came a night where he woke up and seen Sullivan standing over him, and Sullivan tried to suffocate him with a pillow. Sullivan finally died at Bellows' hands, and Bellows almost died with him. They had both gotten severe stab wounds and Bellows still has the scar to this day. Out of all his Grimwalkers, he has a strong hatred for Sullivan because of the attempted murder and all the issues he had been causing. If Sullivan was still around today, he'd be Principal Bump's age, and probably still just as deadly and cruel-hearted. When he had his staff, he specialized in illusion magic, and he was quite fond of ballroom dances. Bellows did not call all the Grimwalkers his nephews. He reserved that special title for only if they greatly resembled Caleb, which was a rarity because of genetics being a fussy grab bag of random traits, so for Grimwalkers like Sullivan, he just told them that they were orphaned, given up by their parents, and he, out of the goodness of his heart, took them in instead. This helped foster a reluctance to turn on Bellows since apparently he was the only person who cared about them, but this did not always work. Sullivan never really felt close enough to Bellows to maintain loyalty, partially out of how Bellows treated him and partially because he was just like that. Bellows had been growing another Grimwalker around the time that Sullivan was a teenager, and Sullivan had found out about it. He made sure to find and kill the Grimwalker while it was still growing in the dirt. Bellows had a sneaking suspicion that it was Sullivan who found and murdered his new Grimwalker, but he could not prove it, but started to keep a careful eye on him regardless. Anyways, that is all of the Sullivan lore I can share with you for right now, so I hope you enjoy this drawing of him. The context for this drawing is that Sullivan is not a morning person, and needs like several cups of coffee to be able to get a start on his day. I had a hard time deciding what clothing to put him in, so I decided some simple sleeping clothes. Normally his color scheme is red and black. Oh, so edgy, I know. I thought it would look striking with his hair color. Anyways, he's an edgy boy with edgy colors, and when he was out of his Golden Guard attire, he looked something akin to an executioner. A job he surely would have enjoyed immensely. He lived to be in his 30s, one of the longer living Grimwalkers, since a lot of them tend to die as young adults and sometimes teenagers.